Right, I've been holding off on this one because it would appear I've got two groups of people. I've got one group of people saying this is all they ever talk about, and another group of people asking me a bunch of questions about it. Does health apply? What's better? X, Y, Z. For those that know, you probably already figured out what it is I'm talking about. We're going to do a little bit of a deep dive into Eclipse. We're going to go over damage to health. Does it apply? Damage to armour. What's the effect? What's the best specialization to run? Is glass cannon on the chest worth it? Etc, etc. I have seen them all. However, I am telling you now that aside from where I have my golem piece, because it can be gloves, knees or holster, this is the best setup. Bar none. No ifs, no buts, don't want to hear crying. This is the best setup for a I'm going to set everything on fire Eclipse build. If you want to go foam, you want a Hannah U backpack with creeping death, simply because of the skill haste or the extra skill haste. If you are wanting to go for a shock style build using the traps, you want Murakami. You don't want creeping death though, you want Murakami instead of Golan. There's a few varying different ways and weird things you can do as a setup. However, for burning things, this is it. Okay, you don't have to have the Golan on your holster like I do. It can be knees or gloves. Ideally you want skill damage and status effect. However, as long as it has at least status effect, you can go with status effect, skill haste, status effect, skill damage. Skill damage can be worthwhile if you're struggling getting one, so skill damage, skill haste and the Murakami, but it's entirely up to you. Now I'm going to upset a lot of people with this because I know everyone's got their weird and wacky ways, and I'm not trying to like drag anyone out and be like, oh, you're doing it wrong. My simple point of this is, if you are going to be meta or optimal, this is how you do it, okay? This is the best setup. The simple reason for this is quite simple. Duration beats damage. A lot of people are just going for the big shiny numbers. That's great, but I'm doing my less big shiny numbers for like an extra 4 seconds. Okay. Now, easy way to show this is quite simple really. I don't have the chest on. So that range goes from 15 meters to 10 meters. That target I'm aiming at is not on fire. Everything else is, but because that one's over 15 meters away. Okay, if I just put the Golan chest back on, not the Golan chest, the Eclipse chest back on. If I just find my build, there we are. Come back. Do it again. Boop. There, that one's on fire. Just because of that alone, we'll go into a little bit more, but just because of that alone, the range and the increase in duration, you might notice I only got one cycle of fire proc last time. I'm on the second one, this is the third now. Just because of the duration and the refresh rate of the burn as well after it's consumed things, that alone will out damage glass cannon. Period. All I've got to do is hit one more target than someone running glass cannon, and I will out damage glass cannon. As well as the fact that the duration of it overall will also outperform glass cannon. This is one of those weird instances of where less is more. Because I'm able to make my burn last longer, I might be doing less, but where I'm able to make it last longer at 2 ticks per second, I don't actually need that much damage at all to outperform glass cannon. In order for glass cannon to actually outperform the Eclipse chest, it would need to be a 70% multiplier. Yeah, it would need to do nearly triple its amplified damage, which would be about double its actual damage. Have fun with that. You're not going to do it. It's just not going to happen. Sorry to tell you. Again, I get that everyone has an opinion on how they like to play, but there's a lot of people at the moment who are like, oh yeah, health applies. No, it doesn't. Oh yeah, glass cannon's best. No, it's not. You should run technician or survivalist. No, you shouldn't. The reason you should, well, there's a few reasons you should be running firewall, but for me, the big one is that weird shotgun pistol you get. Not sure if I've just been firing it there. See that little marker that comes up? That removes enemy fire resistance. Most enemies will have 0 fire resistance, or Hasbro, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, but there are some things that have a good chunk of fire resistance. Anyway, let's move on to health damage, shall we? Now I've got health damage on the shotgun. There's no health damage on the rifle. As you can see, that's my damage. Okay. Not too great, not too shabby. You can clearly see the difference between armour and health. If I put it to capacitor, which has both damage to armour and health, there we are, there's no switch. Switching weapons should change the damage numbers, but I'm still hitting 390, 704, no matter what. If I had an armoured target, I'd probably get more. So if I put it to, just going to put it to elite. Go again. Yeah, as soon as I get the weapon out, you might have noticed it went 390, 704, and then as soon as I actually just put the weapon out, it went up to 437, 588. But when it gets to health, it will drop back down to 390. Health is not applying. Health damage does not apply to any of your skills. We could literally run this all day. The reason for this is simply because most ARs come with 25% multiplicative damage. This would mean some skills would be ridiculous against Trungers. Trungers and Warhounds are meant to be like your biggest threat throughout the casual game. Okay, health damage doesn't apply. Now, one of the main reasons I would always argue that firewall is best is simply because of that little shotgun. I've said this a few times, although it's almost like people don't listen or care or whatever, but you can set Warhounds on fire. They are 100% burn resistant. However, the moment you actually hit them with one of those little pellet shotgun things, it removes 50% of their resistance. This means you can set them on fire. I'm not sure if you've been paying attention, but I've already set one on fire. There, there's another one on fire. That is a Warhound on fire. As an Eclipse build, going full pyro, your biggest strength is setting things on fire. The only way in which you can currently get this is by equipping Firewall. Things might change with the Specialization rework. Maybe there'll be a new weird trick to come up. But I very much doubt you're able to actually outperform the 30% burn duration that it gives you. Look, another Warhound on fire. Okay, you need Firewall. As an Eclipse build, you're very vulnerable to these Warhounds. The only real trick you have against them, because their health damage, as we know, health damage doesn't apply. So we need a way in which to be able to do sustainable damage to them. Need to set them on fire. Not a problem. Hit them with the primer rounds on this weird fire starter shotgun. Problem solved. Dead Warhound, burnt to death. So, both of my weapons on this build have damage to armour. One's at 12%, the other is at 6%. Lo and behold, just by swapping weapons, we will actually get different values of damage. We'll put it to Invulnerable Elite. There you are. 437, 588. Swapped my rifle, and it went to 414. Okay, it's kind of hard to show because it burns through the target a little bit too quickly, but we'll do it backwards, starting with the rifle. Just wait for all of the damage to end. Cool. 414, 145. Swap to capacitor 437. Simply because capacitor has a higher armor multiplier. Now you might have noticed already that eventually they both just sort of stop out at like 390. That's because health damage. 1 is not applied. So to show this a little bit easier, this AR has 21% health damage, the rifle does not. Pretty damn simple. The only reason I'm doing this is because I realised while editing, yeah, the test I did probably wasn't that great. But yeah, so on armour, swapping to the AR, it goes back down to 397.04. If I put this to just invulnerable, which is a health target, just pure health, we'll get there eventually. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. There we are, we're on invulnerable. Okay, rifle, no health damage. AR, 21% health damage. So, just going to pop the guy, 390. We've got the rifle on. Look at that. It's up to the AR, shock, still 390. It weirdly does jump up on random occasions, but that's not due to the health damage. That's just due to the range being weird, glitchy, and buggy. Now, I did try doing duration tests, however, my range was bugging out and I couldn't really get any decent footage. So, we're gonna laugh at me going Lebo down on repeat, trying to get some decent Warhound footage while I go over the numbers with you, because we like numbers here. Lebo down. So, this is the damage as shown. So, we're testing this in damage, the time, the refresh, the time after the refresh, total ticks, which is then lead to total damage, and then +1 target at range. In the B column, we have the Eclipse chest and backpack, and in the C column, we have Eclipse backpack with glass cannon. Yeah. So, Eclipse backpack and chest with perpetuation active did 526076. Thanks to a lovely friend who had the exact same rolls I wanted to test this. Golden chest piece with glass cannon, status effect, skill damage, and then modding in skill haste. He was able to get with perpetuation active 683,898 per tick. The time duration on mine is 19.8 seconds, where his was 16.2. I have a 75% refresh rate, he has 50. 19.8 with multiplied by 0.75 gives us 75%, which is 13.7. Likewise with 16.2 times 0.5, 8.3. Add these together and times by 2, that is our total ticks across one target, and it's spreading to one other after a refresh. I get 47 ticks, he gets 33. We get 2 ticks per second. Total damage for my build is 24,778,180. He got 22,705,414. I am beating him by literally 2 million. Now here's where the clincher comes in, like I said at the start of the video. If I'm able to hit one more target, double it. That's it. Double it. I have a 15 meter range, which means that pretty regularly I'll be able to hit one more target. Okay? That means, just to show it again, where you and your glass cannon are sitting at 22,705,414 for 2 targets, I'm regularly able to hit more targets, which puts me at 49,556,359. The Eclipse chest will 100% outperform glass cannon every damn time. The duration increase from firewall as well as the primer rounds are pretty much god tier on this build. More duration means more damage. Okay, it's just think of it as damage across the total magazine. What would you rather have, a 50 round mag or a 30 round mag? I'll go with a 50 round mag, cheers. You're going to do more damage. Using glass cannon will kill things quicker, granted. However, if you're worried about killing things quicker when they're stood there on fire going, oh no, help, I'm on fire, you've probably got your priorities wrong. yeah, the 10% increase from Technician is not enough to outdo that 30% duration. The 15% increased damage when using Survivalist for your allies on stats affected enemy. Most people do enough damage anyway, so unless you're carrying absolute babies, that 30% duration will still do better because it means that they're not shooting your allies for that duration, which means not only are you able to get more damage in because it lasts longer, you're also increasing their survivability because it lasts longer. And finally, health damage does not apply under any circumstance to any skill or status effect. I'm hoping we have cleared this up. I really don't want to do another Eclipse video, okay? My in-game name is Dod-Fomath, okay? Foam because I like status builds, and math because I like math. Put them together, Fomath, okay? I have spent far too long playing with status builds. This is literally my number one go-to build most of the time. If I'm playing in a group or I'm wanting to get through things a little bit quicker, I will go to my Shield Splinter and DPS build. But if I'm just chilling, I do status builds, and I have fun with them. They are my favourite build style. They're brilliant. I love them. Despite how often I bloody died trying to record this, I was just in a rush to try and get Doggo on fire footage, and it, what's that? Look, why did it like fly 20 feet above him, and now the frigging thing's right? Oh, the Doggo on fire. There we are. Yeah, this has been the meta standing for Eclipse builds for a very long time. I don't know the application of this in PvP, so don't ask. I don't play PvP, and this is one of those builds that's been tested by a multitude of in-game players, speedrunners, etc, and pretty much every single one of them will tell you this is the best and most optimal setup. It equates to more damage, you have more survivability, you're able to set Warhounds on fire. The overall effect in the team is just much larger as well. Anyway, have fun, good luck, don't die. It's bad for the health.